if that's the matchup that this is going to be, this is definitely going to be a wholeheartedly different one, which can definitely spell a very difficult time for Incineroar, a character who does not have the best movement speed, both on the ground, in the air, dealing with, in my opinion, an actual top 20 move in this game in Charge Shot. That move is crazy, in my opinion. And not to say the Patui isn't, but, you know, like, I'm talking about, like, you know, Charge Shot. The fact that you could charge and, like, jump cancel that in the air, as well as just, like, you know, give characters who don't have projectiles and lack of good movement speed that much harder of a time. If they don't know how to play around that, this Incineroar might be getting a lot more rage a lot earlier than you might think.
Yep. So I was expecting, as brought up from the research I did here, I was expecting to see the Captain Falcon come out here from Kovac, but we're going to see the Samus and the plant from Jin Moon, but we're going to see the Incineroar, and this is actually going to be a very tough matchup. Samus, I think, does very, very well here, right? Even with the projectiles that Incin can revenge, the amount of active moves that they have huge hitboxes, quick hitboxes as well. Incineroar can struggle a lot here trying to find a way in. As you can see already, 113% to 73. Once Incin does find a way in, though, it can be some pretty good damage, but the problem is that Samus is already like one of the heaviest characters in the game too, so you gotta work hard to get these stocks.
Okay, and he's going to have to work even harder than I originally thought, as the up B is not going to be able to make it back to the stage. I don't know if you noticed that interaction, Skiff. I think you definitely did. Was Kovac's up B beating out the second... Or by beating out, I mean, like, you know, just getting out beforehand, beating out the second hitbox of Incineroar's up B. Jin Moon did his up B first. Kovac reacted to it out of shield and stuffed out the second hitbox before it could even come out. I didn't even know Samus could do that in this matchup. That's huge.
Incin does have some armor on the rising hitbox, but the going down, it's actually super counterable. Like, if Incin recovers high and the opponent is ready for it, and Samus can very well actually intercept here. If Jin Moon decides to recover high at any point in time, all Samus has to do is double jump forward air, and you're putting Incin right back off stage further than what he was at before. So Jin Moon does have to take that into consideration at any point in time. So honestly, this is going to just mostly be a wash, rinse, and repeat. As you can see right there, the down B actually just interrupting the recovery option as well. Now, granted, it wasn't anything crazy, but it can be very dangerous for Incin.
That's true. That's true. Just putting out that hitbox and then up smashing just a rolls distance away to try to cover that option in case that one whiffed for sure. Definitely making it very hard as that neutral air is going to take the stock. Yeah, on paper, even besides the neutral, it's some of these like little nickel and dime interactions right here on the part of Kovac that's just giving the Incineroar and Jin Moon such a hard time. It's these moments right here where Jin Moon actually has Kovac in disadvantage that they just really have to keep them there and try to keep Samus at bay with that up air. Samus players love to use that bomb to try to get out of disadvantage on the way down, but that beautiful down tilt to F tilt right there. That's the kind of stuff I want to see if Jin Moon is going to make this game back.
Yeah, F tilt is actually super insane. It's fairly quick, right? But it's got a fantastic angle that can send at, especially when you start aiming it up or down. It's actually kind of insane. I passionately refer to Incin's forward tilt as his fourth smash attack because of how strong it is and the angle that it sends. Pretty much at a high percentage, you're just not making it back. It's a stock for sure. And unfortunately, right there, we're going to see Jin Moon let go of that shield a little bit early. It might have been a shield poke. But yeah, that screw attack from Samus, very, very solid. Really active hitboxes as well.
Yeah, definitely for sure. And we got one up air not able to lead to anything else on the platform this time around. It's the kind of stuff that I feel like is so crucial against Samus, because this is another one of those like semi-zoner type characters in a way that you really want to play as little neutral with as possible, especially if you're a slow character like Incineroar. So keeping this character in disadvantage is definitely going to be a big play of the game, if not one of the more important ones, if we're not going to see Jin Moon really take advantage of rage with those down Bs either. One very important thing against Samus is that they love to use bomb to get out of disadvantage, so it's not always about the combos against Samus. Sometimes you just want to run up, just sort of needle her with like one little hitbox, like just jump up with one up air and then wait to see what she does afterwards, and then try to continue your onslaught. That's sort of like rabbit, tortoise, and hare game, if that makes any sense.
Oh, that was a really wacky situation, but into the nair, and that's actually going to be able to close that out. Fantastic stuff from Kovac. And that was actually pretty insane. Pretty solid stuff all around. Jin Moon actually played the matchup very, very well, I felt. Unfortunately, just wasn't able to get it down well enough to be able to actually take advantage of it. But if you actually saw at that last stock, we did see a forward tilt from Incin, right? It put Samus
Yeah.
at 86%, but sent her way off stage from center stage as well. Like, that's how strong that move is. I was just trying to drive home my point there, but it does not matter. Kovac going up 1-0, playing the Samus game absolutely well.
For sure, for sure. And what we only saw, I think, at one point in that entire game was the down B in Revenge. You know, if any way, like, to be able to deal with something like Charge Shot, obviously Incineroar done got, like, a reflector or anything like that. No projectiles to really out-camp Samus or nothing like that. So what is this character to do with the lack of movement speed is obviously in Revenge, the character's comeback mechanic in which they absorb damage and then, like, their attacks do way more. That is something that, in my opinion, like, and you would know more than me, Skiff, that I feel has got to be very crucial in that matchup, don't you think? Being able to just kill Samus, you know, like a little bit earlier, just to sort of have to play that neutral a little bit less, the way that Incineroar knows how.
Incin, literally the entire game plan for Incin is cat and mouse. So, I mean, that is something we're just going to have to throw out there, literally. So it does not matter who he's fighting. He's most likely going to be chasing them around. Like, he is the slowest character in the game. But, like, again, once he gets his hand on you, he does have some pretty solid bread and butter to get some pretty solid damage on fairly quickly. And even though he's going to have to take that heavy tax, right, that's just something that's going to happen. You kind of put a bit of damage on him to the point where he has a nice little bit of rage, and honestly, one Alolan Whip or two can send you quite off, or even take a stock. We actually only saw, I think, one Alolan Whip connect in that first game, which I thought was very interesting. I am a man who throws out a Alolan Whip at least 30 times a game, but, you know, I'm not very good at this game either way. So I thought that was kind of interesting. I think it's a little bit of discipline. He did have a few whiffs, but maybe he's just not quite as confident chasing down the Samus.
And I don't blame them. You know, like, on paper, I feel like this matchup is not very good. And on paper, I don't know how much better this one is in the King Dedede. It will be better for survivability, I suppose. He is the third heaviest character in this entire game. I mean, just look at him. That hammer, the sheer girth, you already know what it is. So this time around, at least they have a projectile to be able to just negate Samus a little bit, albeit a reflectable one that any character in the game can reflect if with a move that does more than 2%.
So the thing here is that Dedede is going to have a very active hitbox, has a fantastic grab game as well, puts on quite a bit of damage. Yes, being heavier and having a better recovery is going to come in very handy here, but look at this pressure that he was already putting onto Kovac off stage, right? Force him to recover a little bit awkwardly and just continues to get this punish game going on. The ledge trap game so far is fantastic. He's been like 100% on returning these Gordos so far. I'm actually really impressed with that.
Yeah, that's gonna be another really important thing in this matchup is the ledge trap game for sure. Just sort of giving Samus a little bit of a taste of her own medicine. Plus the survivability. Good shot right there with the Gordo off of the level, taking the first stock at only 30% is Jin Moon. The counter pick already looking like it's working out real good for them. Reflecting the Gordo back at him again, already evening out or overlapping in this percent is Jin Moon right here. The Northern Cave counter pick and more importantly the character counter pick working wonders for them so far, Skiff.
Yeah, no, like, it's actually kind of insane. For all the Gordos that have gone back at them so far, they're 75%. That's a pretty good shooting percentage in the game right here. But yeah, look at this. The Gordo placement is fantastic, setting up all these hitboxes, forcing them to recover and disadvantage in these really awkward ways, allowing them to secure out these stocks. But Jin Moon is absolutely turning it up here. Fantastic stuff so far. And that's one move I've been waiting to see them incorporate is the inhale. It's a command grab. You got to keep that in mind. You land on shield with that, you're getting inhale, baby. There's no way out of it.
Literally, the more I watch like this game number 2 so far, the more pleased I am with this counter pick. Not even just so far as like the survivability in the neutral with the Gordo or whatever, but as far as keeping Samus in the air. I truly mean it when I say that like you want to play neutral with Samus as little as possible, and like you overwhelming her is not really an option for a lot of characters in this game because you really have to be more disciplined with her because of charge shot. So if you're able to keep her in the air, that's a really big important tool for characters to have, and I feel like Jin Moon has been doing that a lot easier with Dedede as opposed with Incineroar because of the disjoint of the hammer as well as like the just general stronger hitbox of it, as we saw Samus die a lot earlier than we did with that Incineroar in the second game. Skiff, my goodness, that's a 3-stock, baby. I think it was a decent counter pick. What do you think, Skiff? I think that was good.
I think it's a pretty solid counter pick. Listen, Dedede is a better character than some people think. He can really hard matchup check some people, but man, that worked out so well for them. And the thing is like it's just playing that patient game, man. DDD can play the neutral with quite a few characters in the game that you wouldn't quite expect them to. It's all about having that patience. But anytime he found that opening, right, he was looking for his opening. As soon as he got it, he found ways to capitalize, put some damage down, was keeping the pressure off stage, which I think is huge. It's something that Incineroar can't quite do himself, right? So I think that was a very big change into things. The ledge trapping game was fantastic. One thing I do want to see from Kovac going into this game 3, assuming the DDD stays out, is Kovac needs to lame it out. Use that Zair. Samus's Zair is so crazy. He reaches so far. It's fast. It's active. It has multiple hits. It's not going to rack up a bunch of damage, but you will keep DDD very honest in that situation.
Oh, for sure. I think Kovac might be a little used to like not having to respect a character like Incineroar that much, or have any fear of dealing with projectiles on their own. Like, it's like, look at me. I'm the projectile master now, you know what I mean? Incineroar on top of movement doesn't even have anything to really out-camp or contest with Samus in the long-range department. DDD, on the other hand, does. So if they're not going to focus on reflecting those projectiles, they might focus on not having any of their own this time around and just mashing in the face and overwhelming DDD like you are one to do in this matchup, with arguably the character that's the best in this game at overwhelming your opponent. We got Roy out here, Skiff.
Yeah, Roy does throw out a lot of hitboxes, can be very disruptive, so quick. This is definitely a different change of pace for DDD here, Jin Moon. So he's going to have to try and find a way to turn this around very quickly. But so far, off to a hot start. That's a lot of damage coming out. I like how he's using these Gordos too. Just say, all right, listen, try and jump up. Go ahead. Try to jump up. See what damage you can get in on me. You got to deal with the spiky ball first. And in some way, if you do find a way through, I'm punishing you for it. There comes another one, but he's going to be able to grab the ledge, the forward tilt, keeping him honest as well. Multi-hit move, and it reaches so far.
Holding in again and again and again. That mashing's not going to matter if you don't get in. Beautiful parry and punish off of the platform as well, showing that this Roy might be a little bit more practiced than Jin Moon might have predicted in this game number 3 for sure. This is the kind of character that can definitely give DDD a hard time on paper if the DDD is not able to get their setup properly. Name of the game with King Dedede is you want to respect him as little as possible, as little as your character allows it, as that up tilt takes the stock. Your character, if your character is capable of it, you want to mash in his face, not let him set up his ledge traps, not let him really play neutral at any given point, because that is how this character starts to thrive. Is that beautiful forward smash read going to do it from the other side of the stage, evening out this game number 3.
Yeah, fantastic stuff from Kovac. Definitely trying to make some noise here, try to turn things around, but my goodness, okay. Putting a lot of damage down here, trying to keep that pressure up, and they're starting to use these platforms a bit more, which I think is huge. You know, you're trying to keep Jin Moon guessing, keep him on the back foot here as you can. But right now, man, things are getting a little shaky. Okay, he is able to find a way in, putting out a little bit of damage. All right. Oh, got the jab, but wasn't able to follow up with anything.
No, not yet, not yet. Gordo actually protecting Jin Moon on the platform a little more, using it as like a little bit more of a protective tool, I suppose, as that back air not going to take the stock just yet. You do kind of got to watch yourself with Roy in these neutral layers as opposed to the Gordo as far as like reflecting that thing back. You got to make sure you're putting out the right hitbox, because back air can be a little bit awkward, especially out of the short hop macro in terms of getting that move back, as the neutral air is going to kill off the top here. Battlefield, you know, making the way down a little bit more linear for Kovac on their winners tournament stock right now.
So like, I don't know if that Nair would have normally killed. I think they were actually trying to get an up air out, so they might have been holding up as well. So I don't know if the DI thing definitely came into play there, but that Nair is a very solid move. But man, dude, these Gordos are putting in so much work.
You heard me gasp, right? You heard it?
That was so weird. Honestly, that platform saving Kovac, that was the weirdest interaction I've seen in a hot minute. You just dragged them off the platform in front of you and nothing happened. That was so strange.
The read was respectable, though. Honestly, it was definitely a good one. As the good old 1-2, getting the startup hitbox of the hammer into the Gordo that time around, going to do it for Kovac. Gonna head down to the loser's bracket as Jin Moon. Atomisk is somewhere cringing right now at the DDD counter pick. Like, to really get
DDD
this back. The meta.
Better character than Incin. Much better character than Incin, so I do not blame him for what he was dealing with there. Like, Roy, you can kind of fight with Roy, but like, Incin can't do anything, and Roy loves to be in your face, and just how fast it is. Like, I get the switch entirely, right? Especially when dealing with Samus. DDD just handles that much better. But man, gotta hand it up to Jin Moon. Keeping the counter pick out here, bringing out the DDD, and just making it all work. Fantastic